Okay, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at different ways of collecting data, or different types of data we collect, I suppose. So the first type of data we can collect is called primary data. And primary data is when we go out into the field ourselves. It's also called field research. Okay, so field research. And that's when we go out ourselves. So we go, let's take it, we want to find out, let's say, the amount of, or the percentage of people who smoke in teenagers who smoke in Feathered. Okay? So we would go out into Feathered and we would do our own questionnaire and we would ask the people and we would get the data ourselves. Okay? So get or obtain data ourselves. So obtain ourselves. Okay, and the second type of data then we can get is called secondary data. The secondary data is basically us finding out what data has been obtained already. So for instance, we could search on Google, or we could read books, or we could get data from journals. So the difference between the primary data and the secondary data, and also this is called desk research, sorry. But the difference between both is primary data, we go out into the field, or we go out into the I suppose the streets or wherever, and we get the data ourselves. Whereas secondary data, we get it by reading a book, or we get it on Google, so the data has already been collected by someone else and we're just taking that data for ourselves. If we look then at primary data, the advantages of primary data is we can actually get data on exactly what we want to get it on. So if I want to find out the percentage of students in Feathered who play hurling, well, I can get exactly that. I can make the questionnaire and I can ask it. So I'm getting the data exactly as I want it. The other advantage is I know the data is reliable because I've got it, so I know it's true. So it's reliable and I can get the data on exactly what I want. The disadvantages, however, well, it can be expensive and it can be time consuming. So, for instance, we're going out into the community to find out stuff. We're going to have to print surveys. We're going to have to spend a lot of time collecting those surveys. We might have to pay people to distribute the surveys. So it can be expensive and time consuming. With secondary data, well, the advantages are it can be cheap and it can be quick to obtain. Okay, so a Google search is a lot quicker than actually printing the surveys and going out and finding out the data ourselves. However, the disadvantages, I suppose we're not sure how reliable it is. So, not sure of reliability. We don't know how true the data is. We'll have to check our sources and see where it came from. And secondly, the disadvantage is it might not measure exactly what we want it to measure. What we want. So for instance, I might want to find out the percentage of students in Feathered who play hurling. Whereas I do a quick search on Google, I might find out the percentage of students in Tipperary who play hurling. So it's not exactly what I want, but it might be close enough. Okay, so there's our primary data, otherwise known as field research, secondary data, otherwise known as desk research, the advantages and disadvantages of both. Okay. Next then, after we distinguish between our desk research and field research, or primary and secondary data, we look at the different types of data. So first of all, we're going to take categorical versus numerical. Numerical is, as it says it is, I suppose, it's about numbers. So any data we have with numbers, so age, height, distance, anything like that, that our answer is going to be in numbers, is numerical data. However, categorical data, well, that's not numbers. It's more categories. So, for instance, your favorite color. Okay, there's no numbers there. What grade you got in an exam, A, B, C, or D? No numbers there either. Within categorical data, then, we have ordinal and we have nominal. And with ordinal, it's ordered. And with nominal, it has no order. So when we look at nominal v ordinal, if I look at ordinal data, there's an order to it. For instance, if I say, what grade did you get in the exam? A, B, C, or D? And that's just to take a box, so you go A. Would it be, I suppose, logical to have it ordered like this? So would I say, what grade you get in the exam, and give you these choices, B, C, A, or D? That would be very strange, wouldn't it? You'd be saying, well, there's something wrong there. Why did they order it like that? So this is ordinal data when there should be an order to it. However, with nominal data, if I said, what's your favorite color? Red, blue, or green? And you take the box. Well, would it make a difference if I said blue, green, or red? Okay, it doesn't really make a difference. So the order in this doesn't actually matter, whereas the order in this does matter. Okay, so that's what I mean about ordinal and nominal. Lastly, then, we look at discrete versus continuous. So discrete data is set numbers, and continuous data is any number. What I mean by that is, let's look at discrete first. If you said, what's your shoe size? Well, you could have a shoe size 4, or 4.5, or a 5, or a 5.5, or a 6, or a 6.5, etc. But you can't have a 6.53. Okay, so there's certain numbers we can't have there. Okay, so shoe size is a very good It's a very good example here, in that you can have numbers, and it's numerical data, it's numbers, but there is set numbers you can have. 4, 4.5, 5, 5.5. We can't just have a 6.53 or 7.23. Whereas continuous, a good example of this would be height. So if I asked your height, you wouldn't just say 160 centimeters or 162 centimeters. You could actually go more specific. You could say, well, I'm actually 162.34 centimeters. So you can choose any number. Okay, you can go as, I suppose, as accurate as you want. You know, you can really go into the finite number. So my height is 5'11", but I'm actually not 5'11" exactly. I could keep going. I could say 5'11.253 or whatever. Okay, so I suppose the moral of the story is discrete data, set numbers, continuous data, any number. Okay, thanks for that.